So, this is a tough one, right? I think in our modern colonial capitalist society, yeah, it would help. Because what we're seeing now is people working their ass off, not having enough money to sustain themselves or pay to survive. So, could we relieve some of that pressure and stress with universal basic income? Yeah, I'm sure we could. My problem is the exchange of our time and energy for money, and we have minimum wage implemented, but it's not a livable wage. And the discrepancy in the wage gap from the people doing the most work at the bottom of the ladder to the people at the top of the ladder barely doing any work, or physical work, I should say, I think the discrepancy between those two made by our society is much more of a problem, right? Which is that a problem because of money, or is that a problem based on hierarchical systems, pathocracy, narcissism, all of that stuff, right? But I'm a nerd, so I was looking up definitions of words last night, and let me read you the one for feudalism quick. Dominant societal system in medieval Europe, where the colonizers for North America came from, right? In which the nobility held lands from the crown in exchange for military services, and vassals were in turn tenants of the nobles, while the peasants, villains, or serfs were obligated to live on their lord's land and give him homage, labor, and a share of the produce, notionally in exchange for military protection. So basically, the guy at the top owns the land, and the people on that land work it and then pay him their dues or their rent, basically. But then getting back to the idea of communism, or socialism and egalitarianism, why are there even the systems of hierarchy in the first place, you know? And then people say, oh, because they worked hard to get there, when in reality, it's because of nepotism, sacred bloodlines, passing down the nobility through the families rather than like people actually being able to work for those positions of power, right? And then, yeah, you can say with capitalism, free market, you have the ability to work and start a business and all this stuff. But we're in late game capitalism now, where all these people at the top own monopolies. They own most of the businesses if they're in that industry. We can see it with BlackRock's State Street and Vanguard, right? Where they own everything, or at least a little bit of everything, to the point where they're making profits off every person, off every aspect of their life. So we could have this universal basic income, but where is that money flowing to in the economy, in the society, right? Someone was trying to tell me about Bezos and if he shut down Amazon, and I said, yeah, that would be great. Because, yeah, you would be losing jobs, but the money isn't flowing to one guy or one corporation. Split that up, send it back to the community, make it localized instead of sending it off somewhere else. Not to mention, most of those products are made somewhere else, like China, anyways. So I think money and our modern comforts and conveniences have made us complacent in the sense of we trade our time and energy for money, but then we forget how much time and energy actually goes into creating the things we use, like phones and technology. But that being said, if universal basic income could get us to a point of being more self reliant, self sufficient, less reliant on the government or these corporation systems in place, I think it could help us get to a position of being better off and ultimately not even needing the money or the capitalist colonialized society or system that we have in place right now, right? It's a super multifaceted situation, right? And that's why I wanted to take the time to make a longer video, not just cap it at a minute. But yeah, I appreciate the comment and having a conversation about this kind of stuff, right? Because this is what has to happen for us to have any sort of change. You gotta go through and yap about it first, right? If people have a problem with the system the way it is, they have to propose new ideas, like universal basic income. But conservatism usually pushes against innovations and new ideas, so then you can kind of see where the old heads would push back against that shit just based on their political ideologies or the fact that they can't, like, adapt or change in the world. You know what I mean? We all need to be able to adapt and change to situations and evolve together as a race of human beings, right? because we do have a lot more similarities than differences. We all bleed the same color, we're all made of the same particles as the universe. It is us as we are it. As above, so below. I could keep going forever. But it's all just food for thought. I hope this gave you a little bit of stuff to think about and kind of chew on, I would love to hear what you think about this video.